Parkinson's, and today we have another interviewee for our Pop Profile series. The one and only Jojo McDuffie's here, and I have to provide a little bit of a caveat that this is a small inside job and that Jojo McDuffie's our Pop Senior Advisor, but we're excited to learn so much more about him and what makes him tick and his passions, and we're excited to get started. Jojo, thanks for being with us.
Yes, thanks for having me. Good to see you and talk to you virtually. It's
I
been
know.
a little bit of time outside of the other communications that we have, but yeah, I'm excited to be here talking with you.
Definitely. Well, tell everybody your background, your
Mhm.
education background, and tell us kind of where it all started.
Yeah. Uh, well, I guess education wise and all that stuff. Let's go to the beginning. So I am originally from Pensacola, Florida, and I grew up in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Um, From there, I went to college in Ashland, Virginia, Randolph-Macon College there, where I actually studied economics and business there. And from there, I actually spent a little time at the college as a recruiter, both academics and athletics. And then after about 5 years there, I made the transition to Charlottesville, where I now work at the University of Virginia in intramurals and recreational sports. I manage a facility there called North Grounds Recreation. So I've been in my role there as an assistant facility manager, as well as a personal trainer instructor there for we are headed to our eighth eighth year at the university. So I've been there some time, and I've just had so many opportunities there to grow um, within recreation, but then just also in the health and the wellness really spectrum. And so, the university gives us tons of educational benefits and opportunities to follow our passions and continue with our learning. And so I took advantage of that and, really dug deep into different forms of personal training, um, whether it's kettlebell training, more boxing stuff, and then had the opportunity to get into Functional Aging Institute, which basically says that people 50 years and older have been neglected in the personal training or the fitness space. This is how you can reach out to them and help them. And so I've kind of been in that mesh between a facility manager and personal training instructing for some time now, and it's really led me to where I'm at today.
Okay. Well, tell us how long you've been working in the Parkinson's community arena, and kind of how'd you get into that arena, and how long you've been working with folks with Parkinson's?
Yeah, so I was first introduced to Parkinson's disease, outside of Michael J. Fox or Muhammad Ali, and knowing that popular culture, they were diagnosed. Um, I was introduced to Parkinson's disease. I think it was in late 2015,
Mhm.
um, and then in early 2016, I started working with my first client who had Parkinson's disease, and it was purely like a chance type deal where there was a woman. She was reaching out to people in the community looking for a trainer who would work with her. She knew the benefits of exercise. She was a dancer. She practiced Pilates, but she heard about boxing and higher intensity training helping with Parkinson's disease. And long story short, it finally made its way to me. And when I was asked about it, I just basically said, "Hell yeah, I'm going
Mhm.
to do this. Where
Mhm.
is she at?" Make the introduction, and we started working together in the early spring of 2016.
Mhm.
And I just during that time period working with her, I really became like fascinated with Parkinson's disease because it's unlike any other disease out there.
Mhm.
It's just I have a group of close to 50, 55 people living with Parkinson's, and they are all different.
Yeah.
And anyone who works with Parkinson's disease knows that all your clients or the people you work with, they are all different. So I just became very fascinated with it, and wanting to learn more and more about it. Then I had the opportunity in December of 2016 to go to the Rocksteady Boxing training camp, which was held in Indianapolis, Indiana. And from there, myself and the Lincoln family, which Sarah Lincoln, who I work with directly with Rocksteady here in Charlottesville, we decided to collaborate. I actually met her for the first time in Indianapolis, not knowing that she lived right here in Charlottesville. And so we got two people in Charlottesville at Indianapolis at training camp at the same time.
It was meant to
Like,
be.
yeah, you are supposed to be doing this.
Yeah.
Don't deny it. Just make
Don't ignore it. You got to go with it.
hey, you're in. What are you doing? No, there's no decision to be made here. As I always joke and say, yeah, I wasn't out there looking for Parkinson's disease or wanting to talk about. It just kind of found me and was
Yeah.
like, hey, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And since then, I've had classes every Tuesday, just about every Tuesday and Thursday since 2017, and has steadily added classes to the roster to where pre-COVID I was teaching about 15 classes a week.
Yeah.
So we made it a point to make sure that our folks with Parkinson's disease could get two classes in per
Mhm.
week. So just trying to keep it going from there, and I honestly, I didn't know that I would still be involved in the Parkinson's community right now,
Yeah.
at least this long.
Mhm.
But I, it's honestly, it's a part of me.
Mhm.
Many of us coaches or people who work with Parkinson's, at least in my group, we always like to say, like, yeah, our athletes have Parkinson's, but we also have Parkinson's. We are also living with
Yeah.
Parkinson's disease,
Yeah.
because it's for me as someone in the fitness space, it's like at the forefront of my mind. If I'm training someone who has aspirations to um, go to the Olympics, and we're doing these movements, in my head, I'm also thinking, well, how can I use that same movement
Mhm.
and apply it to this athlete with Parkinson's disease?
Yeah.
It's always there, Margaret. It's
Oh, yeah.
always
Yeah.
there.
Well, your knowledge is so applicable to Parkinson's because we know that movement is medicine. Movement is
Yes.
the one thing to stave off the symptoms as long
Mhm.
as possible. So your education, your background fits Parkinson's disease. So it only makes sense. And it's a neat story that when one client kind of helped steamroll it into
Yeah.
what it is today. So
Yeah, but I think what you said there is perfect. It's for anyone out there in the fitness industry, like, you can take the skills that you've learned over time and apply that to helping people live better with this very challenging disease.
yeah.
It's not like I really didn't have to go out there and learn a whole new field.
Hmm.
I just kind of caught up with people who knew a lot about Parkinson's. I've had the opportunity to sit down and have lunch, coffee, dinner with neurologists in the area.
Hmm.
But outside of that, none of them could teach me the fitness side of it.
Yeah.
Um, many of us coaches have had to sit down and say, all right, how does this apply to people with Parkinson's when we are looking at balance and strength and coordination and conditioning.
Hmm.
My I think my athletes are the healthiest 55 to 83-year olds that are out there,
Yeah.
because they are doing all the things that we're asking everyone to do, no matter what their age is, and they've been doing it consistently for two
Yeah.
to 3 days a week.
Yeah. The consistency, I think, is so
Yeah,
important.
that's right.
You kind of touched on a little bit, but what's driving your passion to continue to work within the community, the Parkinson's community?
Um, honestly, they are. That's my family.
Hmm.
That's my tribe.
Hmm.
Um, it, in tribal culture, we all take care of each other.
Hmm.
And so, as much as I've done for them, they have done a lot for me as well.
Mhm.
And so it's just this, desire to take care of these people as they say, hey, can you help me? What can we do together?
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to oversimplify, but that's really it. They walk in and you develop a relationship with them. Um, they, in some ways, I become an initial counselor,
Mhm.
where they're telling me all their troubles, all their challenges, and then I have to, also talk to the spouse or other members of the family, and everyone's just they're giving it to you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you take all of that on, and it's like, well, all right, I guess we're family now. We're
Yeah.
all in this right now.
Yeah.
So it becomes not like, here's what you need to do to get better. It becomes, this is what we have to do, to make sure that the quality of life is there, not only for the person with Parkinson's, but also for the family, the support that's surrounding them, that also are taking on some of the challenges
Yeah.
um, there. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a team effort, and
No,
you're one of the members of the team. You're one of the members of the family, providing the important information, because there's medication, but there's also exercise, and that's a
yes.
big part of it. So you're the doctor facilitating that part of the care. So I think
And
that's
it is the
awesome.
cheapest care, right?
Yeah,
It is the cheapest care.
it
I mean,
is the
your
care.
your payment is movement. You
Mm-hmm.
just
Yeah,
keep on moving, keep on working out, and I would love to see that cost start to go down, because they've been exercising so much, practicing these skills so much, that the cost of the medication just starts
yeah,
to go down,
yep,
the money that they're spending.
yeah.
That would be awesome.
I totally agree. And there's some sort of internal reward for that. Like, I've got control. I can be in control. It's not an external medication, and that's okay. People with Parkinson's certainly need, that at times, and it's okay. But it also gives them a feeling like I'm in control. Like I have what I need internally to control this. So
Yeah,
it's a good.
that's perfect, Margaret. Yeah, that's uh, being dependent versus independent. You
Mhm.
know, yes, like you said, some people they do need that medication, um, but if you can keep that initial dosage as
Yeah,
small as possible, and
because you're pounding the bag, or you
yeah,
3
and
times a
you're
week.
exactly, you're sitting there saying like, I am having some challenges today. What can I do?
Yeah,
I know. Let's first get out of bed,
yeah,
start moving slowly, and we can start working our way to get to some little more intense movement, intense exercise, and then you slowly start to feel better throughout the day. I mean, yeah, that control is such a big thing with the
yeah.
disease. We're
I
missing that control, that power. So,
Yeah. Well, tell us some of the lessons you've learned working in this space with people with Parkinson's.
whew, uh,
Big lesson that might stick
yeah.
out. What's something you've learned?
Let's see. First, the first one that comes to my mind right now is that life throws you curveballs.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
one thing people don't necessarily realize about Parkinson's disease is that it we don't know 100% that it's, hereditary.
Mm-hmm.
And you some people with Parkinson's start to look down their family line and try to figure out, like, all right, who in my family had Parkinson's disease. And for the at least the group that I work with, um, man, I think maybe only 10% of them can actually trace Parkinson's back to someone in their family. And so it's a complete curveball. You go from being, in one case, I had an individual, he was literally the smartest person everyone knew.
Mm-hmm.
He was a NASA engineer, space engineer. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he's smart. He's a different kind of
Yeah.
smart.
Oh, yeah.
And just kind of very, very active, hikes, whitewater rafting.
Mm-hmm.
And so that power, that control, that independence, you go from taking care of someone to take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
So that curveball,
Yeah.
but then how to be resilient after,
Hmm.
that, I guess that proverbial pitch, right?
Yeah.
Curveball.
Yeah.
And they are the most resilient people I have ever met in my life.
For sure.
They literally fall down, get back up. Jojo, I fell, but I am still coming to class on Thursday.
Hmm. Yeah.
Right? Um, it was a rough night, but I am going to find a way.
Yeah.
And that resilience has really just it's had a really great effect on me. I've always found myself to be um, resilient, but like this is a whole nother level,
Hmm.
you know. And
Hmm.
then I guess the other thing that I would say is, controlling the controllables. It
Hmm.
has actually become more of a mantra in my coaching practice
Yeah.
with my clients and my athletes. Like there are things that you do have complete control over.
Hmm.
Waking up, showing up, staying active, doing your homework, going to practice, saying yes to this, no to that, putting things on your schedule, controlling your time. But then there's some things that you don't have control over, and you do have to be somewhat reactionary to it. But again, how are you responding after that?
Yeah.
Those things that are out of your control happen.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so, and it, man, I could talk about this all day long as far as lessons learned because
Yeah.
there really is a long list. And many of my clients who don't have Parkinson's, they've made the comment of like, I can see where the switch in your thinking is
Hmm.
happening.
Hmm.
Um, I can see how this movement would be challenging for someone with Parkinson's because I don't have it and I'm really struggling with this.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and it's kind of that information sharing and introducing, I guess, the normal population, if you want to call it that, to Parkinson's disease. That has been a really bright spot
Yeah.
for people to actually have a better understanding of what Parkinson's disease is outside of what they saw from a Muhammad Ali or
Hmm.
Michael Fox
Yeah.
with speech or tremor. So yeah, like I said, tons of things learned.
Mhm.
It's a really long list. Um,
Well,
maybe
ad-
maybe a
you
blog
become an
post on that one.
yeah. I think you become, I was going to say you become an advocate. You're a vessel. You're learning so much from people with Parkinson's and you're kind of translating that to people without PD to help them have a better understanding of the disease. It doesn't necessarily look like, the celebrities who have it because it's
Yeah,
different for everybody and you're kind of that vessel. So you become an advocate, which is probably a pretty positive byproduct to all of it.
yeah.
Uh,
I think we could all learn a little bit. We should all take advantage of spending some time in like whether it be going on a walk with one of our PAL events,
mhm,
um, spending some time in a rock steady boxing class,
mhm,
just seeing how they move, how tough they are.
mhm.
I mean, you can learn a lot about yourself, and maybe it motivates you to like step
Mhm.
your game up just a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah. I
Every
would have to
class.
agree with that. Because there's value spending, and I found there's definitely value spending time with someone who's battling a neurodegenerative disease. And
Yes.
when you get to talk with someone who knows that tomorrow, a week from now, a month from now, a year, 5 years are going to look different,
Yes.
it changes your perspective, and you kind of things start changing.
Yeah.
Your priorities change, and you learn
Uh-huh.
so much from someone who can't look at the future the way we look at the future.
Yeah.
So,
I remember one time I asked one of my friends who has Parkinson's. It was like, so what? You know, couple months from now, a couple years now, like what do you expect? And he looked at me and he was like, Jojo, I don't know anything about tomorrow.
yeah. Yep.
So that mindset of be here now.
Don't we all need that?
Be
Be present.
present. Yeah. It's like I'm worried about right now
Yeah.
this next step that I'm going to take, like literal next step
Yeah.
that I'm going to take. I can't be looking that far ahead. I have to be right here, right now.
Yeah.
That that's all of us, right? Like you
Yeah.
just said,
Right.
that's all of us just
Definitely.
being present,
Yeah.
taking advantage of this moment right here.
Definitely. Well, tell me, as a pop advisor, tell
Yeah.
me where you'd like to see pop in the next year, couple years.
Yeah, I would like to see pop at the forefront,
Hmm.
of the benefits of physical activity for people with Parkinson's disease and other movement disorders.
Hmm.
I do believe we have built a lot of traction and we continue to move in the right direction. And I think most importantly, we have really stayed the course of what we talked about from day one of movement is our priority.
Hmm.
We want people to move more and be strong.
Yeah.
And you know, as well as I do, many people have kind of come to the foundation. Can you help with this? Can you help with that? And even in conversations with Gary is, well, does it focus on movement?
Hmm.
No.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
that's how you start something great. You stick to
Hmm.
what you feel like your purpose is, and that's with the PAL events, the golf outings, the walks, the bowling. We've really stuck to that, and I can't wait till the day where we say this is a pop facility
Hmm.
where you can come in, you can get your workout in, you can do arts and crafts, you
Hmm.
can have your discussion groups, we can talk about the effects of nutrition,
Hmm.
or the link between the brain and the gut as it goes with nutrition. That pop facility, that's everything geared around Parkinson's and other movement disorders.
Hmm.
That's and I think we've had this conversation before, but that's where my mind always goes, because there's a lot of research out there right now, and it's all really good and highly necessary research on different medical treatments for movement disorders,
Hmm.
and probably more specifically with Parkinson's. Um, but we're not talking enough about the benefits of movements. That's a newer thing. That's very recent in conversations. But I think that the way that we've approached this is you can truly live well through daily practice of exercise. And I think where that then takes us is not only are you exercising, but your spouse is exercising, and then that then transfers to you know your grandkids see it. Now the whole family is living healthy, because it's kind of like the standard for you know this family works out every day in support of
Hmm.
our family member who's telling us, now I know I'm doing this because I have this disease, but you should be doing this so that you can
Yeah.
control those, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? But
Yeah.
that the pop facility and being at the forefront of this is the true treatment. This is where
Hmm.
you come for the daily benefits. You're
Yeah.
looking for the right now. That's like
Yeah.
that's that is the dream.
That's our dream.
Right. I was reading a book the other day where it talked about a wish versus the dream.
Mhm.
And the wish, you just kind of, hey, I wish this, and there's no action behind it. But the dream has the action that
Yes.
follows behind it to make it your reality, or that dream is the reality here, but now you have to
Yeah.
put it out
You
there.
gotta
And
take the steps. You gotta
yeah,
break it down and take the steps.
and the thing is, like, in my heart, in my soul, I know that is going to happen.
Mhm.
For
Mhm.
me, it's more of a matter of when will that
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Sometimes patience is a virtue, right?
I do have really, really
Real
good
pain in
patience.
the butt, but it's a virtue.
I do have really good patience, but I think on some things you got to be like, let's
Just
go.
go. Come on, let's do it. Enough
Yeah,
talking.
definitely, definitely.
Well, tell us. We kind of touched on your dreams for the next couple years for Pop, but we probably should have started the other way around. Tell everybody a quick story, how you got connected with Pop, and maybe folks don't know
Oh man,
how you got connected. Tell them
gosh, and
the
honestly, it would be around this is like uh, Gary and I's anniversary.
yes. I think it's a 2-year anniversary you guys are coming up on, and
Yes,
I'm
yes.
like the third wheel.
What gift is he going to give me? No, but yeah. So working with Rocksteady and bringing that to Charlottesville. In Charlottesville, Virginia, at the university, we have Pancakes for Parkinson's that happens every single year. Really, really good charity event hosted on the grounds by students for the Michael J. Fox organization. And so for the past few years, Rocksteady Boxing Charlottesville has had a table at the event. And I think it would have been 2 years ago now.
Yep.
Is that right? 2 years ago? 2 years ago, I was had a table and was conversating, and here comes Gary. And he starts asking me questions about exercise and what types of things we do
Mhm.
at our Rock Steady. And we just got to talking. And next thing you know, he was the only person I was talking to.
Yeah.
And it was so cool because he just flat out asked me, like, where do you see this going?
Hmm.
And I told him where I saw myself going with with the Parkinson's community and some of the things that I wanted to do. And he just like just looked at me. He was like, I like that.
Hmm.
I've been thinking about the same thing. We should connect.
Yeah.
And that was probably after like 35, 40 minutes. I think either you or your mom had to pull him away from me or something like that.
Probably. That sounds
And, and
right.
he was like, yeah, let's exchange information and stuff like that. So we exchanged information. And I got to tell you, like, I've exchanged information with a lot of people
Mhm.
within the Parkinson's community.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's just like you have a conversation with someone, you network, you exchange information, and nothing ever happens. He
Mhm.
called me the very next day.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and from there, it was like, all right, let's meet. Okay, when you want to meet? Let's meet next week.
Yeah. Yep.
So came over, we sat down, and we all just sat down together, like a family from jump, and
Yeah.
put together a plan, and we have not stopped
Mhm.
moving since.
Yeah.
And yeah, but it started at Pancakes for Parkinson's 2 years ago, and I talked to either you or Gary. It feels like at least once or twice, every week or every
Yeah.
2 weeks, and
Totally.
really kept the ball
Family.
rolling. So
It's
it's
family.
been amazing.
Yeah. Well, two things on that. One, he was 5 months into his diagnosis when he met you, as you know, and just wanted to roll with it, and you helped him. So that was awesome. The second one is he feels the same way. I think meeting you was um, just kind of like that aha moment. I can execute on these ideas. We've got great people in the community who can help me and help power Parkinson's. So not to make you feel uncomfortable, but it was just as rewarding, I know, for Gary slash my dad,
And
as for you. So
if for those who may not know Gary very well, I've never struck him as a man who accepted the word no.
correct.
And so in our conversation, after I kind of pitched him my dream and we had agreed, we kind of agreed on that. He told me that he's had this conversation, like he said the things that was coming out of my mouth to
Mhm.
other people, and they've basically been like, okay, cool,
Yeah.
but that's not gonna work. And when he said that, I was like, seriously? He's
Yeah.
like, yeah, no kidding, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They tried to turn me down. They tried to say no.
And so you
You're
tell
telling me
people
yes, man. I'm rolling with you. I'm betting on you.
you're the only one who's telling me yes. So you're in.
Yeah, you're in. You're in. There's no turning back now. And then you can't shake us. A couple of years later, you can't shake us.
Not even trying to. Not even trying to. So
Good,
yeah.
good. Tell me to talk, ask one question COVID related, because I think everyone's kind of sick of talking about COVID, but tell me what would be like one or two pieces of advice you'd give with people to people with Parkinson's living in these conditions right now.
Let's see. I guess the first thing I would say is be creative.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just because you are not in a facility, or you don't have your coach, your instructor, or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
um, get creative.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as humans, we were all designed to move until our dying day,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, at bare minimum, go for a walk. You know,
Yep.
I'll try to play your favorite sport. Just get creative. Dance. Just keep moving.
Yeah.
Like, if there's any opportunity to say I have time, like like
No one
we
said.
all have time.
Yeah.
So first thing I would say is get creative.
Okay.
Um, you've already learned how to embrace change.
Mm-hmm.
So take those skills that you learned from your initial diagnosis and up to this point of how you embrace change,
Mm-hmm.
and continue on with that, because that's going to allow your mindset to say, no, I can do this. I've actually done something more challenging
Right.
than living through COVID, right?
So,
I've had those challenges for
yep.
so long.
COVID's temporary, but
Exactly.
yep.
Right. COVID's temporary, but this Parkinson's thing is
Mm-hmm.
it's forever.
Yeah.
I got it, right?
Yeah.
And then outside of that, stay safe.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Stay safe, be careful, follow the rules. Um, there's there's like this conflicting language or literature out there that says people with Parkinson's disease specifically are in a higher risk category, when that's actually false information.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's not the Parkinson's disease that makes you a higher risk.
Mm-hmm.
It's the other health things that may be associated, with that age demographic that puts you
Sure.
at higher risk.
Mm-hmm.
And so, just overall, we all have to stay safe.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, be creative, embrace the change, and stay safe is probably where I would keep that. Yeah, definitely.
Um, at POP, as we talked about in depth today, we focus on the day-to-day exercise, how we can live well today, but research is such a big component. So tell me what you think is the most exciting thing going on in the research world right now.
Oh my God. Awesome question. Yes. Thank you.
Well, there's so much going on.
Oh man, but the thing that's so exciting to me now, there's a lot of studies out there about the effects of exercise using this piece of equipment, or this piece of equipment. But the thing that I'm really, really excited for is that right now, and I hope I can say this, but VCU is working on a virtual reality project that
Yes.
really encourages movement. I have had the opportunity to go to VCU, to the lab, and put on the virtual reality gear. I got to play dodgeball, go fishing, and again, all virtual reality. And
Talk about being creative.
yes, being very creative. And what I'm most excited about is not only is it really encouraging movement, and so there's going to be a variety of different games and stuff like that that you can play, but you're going to be able to do this from the comforts of your own home. And they are doing their best to make it as cost effective as they possibly can. This is real virtual reality. I mean, Star Trek, wrapping
Oh,
around
yeah.
your head type deal. Like, it's the real deal.
Yeah.
And they are doing their best to make it the most cost effective program, or I mean, call it a game, because it is a game.
Yeah, and
Uh,
that's okay if movement
yes,
translates to a
yes,
game. We've bowled together. We've done
yes,
shuffleboard together. We've gone to the
yes.
driving range.
Driving range.
Movement
Yes.
movement is okay. It's okay to be in a game format.
Yes, yes, exactly. So it will provide you with a recreation opportunity. And so that, for me, that's the most exciting research that's happening, because, even as they start to build this thing out, they're going to be able to have a group of people come in and, get them all probed up with the sensors, so that they can have some data points of, what your balance looks like, what
Right.
your rotation, and it's all actually, there's a focus behind it of, reaction and rotation. How far can you rotate? How well can you balance? So there's actually some data points that they'll be able to get behind this whole thing. Uh, but for the participant, they're not worried about all of that.
No.
It will be fun. It will
Yep.
be a lot of fun, and it will
Yeah.
encourage movement. And again, it's right in line with what our goal, what our purpose is behind POP.
Yeah.
So that's the research I'm really excited about, because it does go in line with the everyday activity. So that, yeah, I would say there's some others, but the one that I actually get really excited about is
Oh
it.
yeah. It's such a neat concept. We've had a chance to visit my dad and I, and for folks listening, this is the VCU Motor Control Lab.
Yes, thank you.
And the team there is unbelievable, really creating the future of physical rehabilitation, not just for Parkinson's, but for other areas too. But Parkinson's, the movement is so imperative. They're just doing, I'll vouch for what Jojo's saying, they're just doing amazing work. And it's truly the future. As you said, you can do it in
Yeah,
the comfort of your own home. The
yeah,
data gets reported back, where you're having trouble, what range of motion that you're having trouble with. All the thinking's
yeah,
done through the computer and sent to docs, physical therapists, but you just get to play. You get to move and
yes,
play. So yeah,
yeah.
it's really neat.
Yeah,
Um,
thanks for interpreting my excitement there, because I completely forgot the name
no,
of the lab. It's
we
just it's so exciting. I
it
mean,
is. It's the future.
it's the best thing out there. Yeah, it
Yeah,
really is the future.
yeah, and they've got a comprehensive team there where you've got your tech guys, you got everybody figuring out how to make it work, and then you've got the physical therapists and all the health professionals. So it's such a comprehensive team, all with the same goals.
Yes.
So it's more to
Yes.
come. I think we'll all learn more as they kind of solidify these things. So I've got one more question for you. You ready?
Yes.
So, you've been working in the Parkinson's community for a long time, but we all know you've got a lot of other hats. So, tell us some of the other domains that you work in, some of the other projects you're working in within the health and fitness arena.
Yeah, let's see. As I said earlier, primarily my main role is at the University of Virginia, working in intramural recreational sports.
Mhm.
Um, and then with the personal training stuff, I do a lot of work with folks who want to learn how to box or actually get into boxing.
Mhm.
Um, and from there, I help build out my company, Power Refine. I help build out strength and conditioning programs for people, customized programs and nutritional guidance for them.
Okay.
So kind of matching the two up, making sure that whatever program you're on, you have that nutritional guidance that actually matches up with it to help you meet your goals.
Sure.
And then I also, within the nutrition realm, I have a habit-based coaching program that basically just helps people to be aware, be present, better understand the foods that are out there, not necessarily a 30, 60, 90-day plan, more so of a lifestyle
Mhm.
plan. So it's a habit-based coaching to help us make, better decisions throughout the day, as far as what are we eating, being aware of what are we feeling, understanding the importance of sleep and recovery,
Mhm.
so that, 80-year-old JoJo is thinking, sending out a special thank you to, 36-year-old JoJo. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
that's what I do.
That's awesome. So, if someone wants to connect with you for this stuff, how do they connect with you?
Yeah, and I should also throw out there, I do help with programming for people as individuals with Parkinson's disease to help them have a program for their own, for their unique challenges.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can reach me at mypowerrefined@gmail.com.
Mhm.
And you can also check out the website as we continue to develop that out, which is www.mypowerrefined.com.
Awesome. Well, Jojo, you proved to still be the man through this interview. So
Oh, you stop
being
that.
with us. I think people realize why I gave you that intro now. So,
Now it's just even though some of us look at it to be maybe an unfortunate situation. Some of my people like to say I feel like I drew the short straw
mhm.
initially. We start to realize that there is a way.
Yeah.
And if we can find something to be really excited about,
Mhm.
to find something exciting in the Parkinson's community, it's like I'm excited because these people have Parkinson's. So I know I'm excited because they can live well with it. It's not
Yes.
a death sentence. It's a
Yeah.
yes, I have this. Again, back to resilience. What am I going to do now?
Mhm.
I'm still going to live the best life that I can under these circumstances. And
Yeah.
so I'm just so excited and so really grateful to be a part of the pop family and just super excited about everything that we already have coming up because Margaret does a great job in planning.
You just kind
um,
of keep pushing until you
yeah,
get done, right?
yeah, we
Yeah.
just that's what we do. We wait for no one and we get things done. And it's just so exciting to like find something that I can use like fitness, health, and wellness for something outside of just having a six pack or having nice toned
Yeah,
muscle.
that's well said. That's awesome.
Yeah. Let's use
A byproduct. We want, a positive byproduct, but at the end of the day, truly being healthy is,
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm just so excited and so fortunate to be with you guys, and I just can't wait to see where we go from here.
awesome. Well, thank you, Jojo, for being with us today.